Hello, my name is Catherine Ashwak, and I've come to talk to you about multiculturalism. The reason this topic came to my attention was speaking to an old friend who mentioned that she was reevaluated later on for an IEP. Her IEP was deemed culturally insensitive because it did not take into account her ethnic background. Witnessing this and also witnessing the passive inclusion and the spreading of cultural stereotypes of cultural stereotypes by staff members, by other teachers, and by family members has really hammered home how important it is to create a multicultural classroom, whether that be through books, literature, dolls, play items like foods. We know that this can help create a sense of safety, of inclusion, of self confidence, of self worth when we're educating, especially young children. We know what racism can do. We know what exclusion can do because we're educators, because we work with young people. But how do we stop from happening? How do we stop these kind of exclusionary tactics from taking effect? Unfortunately, because we all have our own inherent biases or implicit biases, we come into the classroom with certain understandings about the other cultures that we encounter. I've witnessed on so many occasions, it's upsetting to even mention, but on so many occasions I've witnessed many of my colleagues, I should not say so many of my colleagues bringing in their own biases when working with children. For example, I've seen that it's assumed that a black family might not have the same socioeconomic status as their white counterparts. How does this benefit the child? How does it benefit the family? How does this impact them in a negative way? What do these assumptions say about us and about the classroom that we're rearing, and about the kind of future we want to see for our students? I don't think that we can get anywhere without having this kind of education be at the forefront of our minds when we're working with young kids. When we hold our own biases and we use them against our kids, whether that is something that we're aware of or something we're not aware of, we can really, really damage a kid's self-esteem, their self-worth, how they think they can do in life, and also their feelings of safety within the classroom. If they don't see themselves represented, how can they be part of the classroom community? If they don't see them represented, how can they think that their value is that of their counterparts? I don't think that any research would disagree with the idea that multiculturalism is one of the inherent things we want to implement in a classroom, especially when we're working with a diverse student body. However, this does not mean that in schools that have a more dominant culture, whether that be a black or brown culture, whether that be an Asian culture, whether that be a white culture, that learning about others doesn't help them in the long run. We know that it does. We know that it reduces implicit bias when going forward with students. We know that they will become more culturally sensitive going forwards in their life. And we know that that creates a better society because we've seen it happen in America in the past. Thank you. Have a good evening.